Hello and welcome. I'm Sharon Martin from Inner Sanctum Studios, and I am a messenger and a channel for Gaia. So in my daily life, I bring through messages from her about consciousness, about ascension, and about our what's going on for humanity and for the planet. And I realized recently that I don't do a very good job of remembering to say that to people. So I try and post something most days. I have a Facebook page as well that you are welcome to join, and I post on here, and I try and get on here every few days, but it's not always possible. Life can get in the way, no matter what the intentions are. So welcome Charlotte and welcome Sally. I want to tell you that there's a feeling. There's a feeling in this day. It's more expansive and explosive than even yesterday, and it's very heart-centered. So I wanted to invite you to feel into the energy, and I thought, well, let's start with the crown. So let's go to the crown chakra, and I just invite you to feel energy in your crown chakra and send a beam of your light up from there into the heavenly realms, and then just feel into what is coming down. So just close your eyes. Just notice what's going on internal of your skull. And send a beam of light. For me, I'm seeing it as a golden beam, if I didn't say that, but you might be sending a different colour. It has a lot of metallic look to it. It has a lot of texture to it. And then I invite you to allow that to be released as cosmic rain, because this is the experience of the energies today. So envisage, feel, have a sensory experience of this exquisite, divine, cosmic rain that is coming here upon us. It is light, sound, frequency, vibration, and resonance. And it is bringing us these new and uplifting codes. So just allow those to saturate your field, to come into the skull. And now invite it to come into the pineal gland. And invite that to activate to a higher level. So you might feel that has some energy that comes in behind the physical eyes, the third eye, the occipital bone, and some pressure points in the skull around the pineal and pituitary, sort of here and here. Don't get too caught up with the location. But I want to say these are the gifts coming online, and I have to tell you that before I sat in front of the screen, I didn't know I was going to be doing that. So just take a few breaths and then come back in and write in the chat if you have anything that you'd like to share about that before we dive into like a lot more really than just the masculine coming off the end of the whirligig, but it's all I was going to do that and just do that, and then we'll just see how we go, but there's more than that. Hi Josie, hi Carla, hi Fiona. Oh, thank you. I feel like we are really receiving what I can only call like a package. That's what the Divine Feminine are doing. So the Divine Feminine, we are doing a number of things, but let's just talk about the first wave of beings. And so, what the first wave of beings are doing, I'm getting all emotional as I'm saying this because it's so beautiful, is through this heart expansion. It is that, well, firstly, as I've said before, but a quick review, is that the Divine Feminine and first wave is awakened men. We have been fighting in the ethers. We have been fighting in the, if you we know it's not exactly this, but let's call it a band, in a fourth dimensional band to eradicate the dark, the satanic, the Luciferian, the intrusion on humanity. We have been out in that, um, eliminating those beings who are here to do harm, to stop ascension, and to eradicate humanity's higher levels of consciousness. So we've been out doing that, and so we've been eliminating them. It's been a war, and it's been bloody. And if, like me, you've come back in the morning and realised that you've come back with blood on your clothes. I mean, in the psychic world, that, and then the other thing is that we have been like removing the threads that hold humanity down and bringing in the higher threads that connect to the fifth dimension. Now we know it's not levels, that's just a way of explaining it, and yet in some ways these bands are real and tangible. So Sally is saying she saw a large funnel of energy. Oh, fantastic! Yeah, it's very much like that. It shows up like a, what did we say those fireworks were? The candle, the Roman candles. That's how I saw it. Small gold layer on exterior, and oh, good on you, Sally. Go you with what you're seeing. That's fantastic. Large silver wave in the middle of the gold was energy coming down to me, and silver was I was giving back. It's beautiful. Yeah, well, I often perceive that the silver energy is the feminine mother. It's the mother energy, and the gold is the father energy, and we carry both. Carla's saying she saw a psychedelic shower of light particles. Fantastic. Oh, I love it. So we're in that. That's one level. I was talking to somebody last night, and I went to a I went to a beautiful surprise birthday party last night that was dress up, and I was talking to somebody there, and I was saying to him, there's this whole sense that we are like in this preparation where the first wavers are now, spending time in this fifth dimensional reality. And then it is as though I don't know, there's a lot of ways you could describe it, but it is as though we are, you could see it as throwing a fishing line in or casting out lines to others and helping them by pulling it in, or that our energetic collectively, the first wavers, our collective energetic is drawing people in. And then that creates this is one way of describing ascension. And that creates like a bigger group that then has a bigger draw, a bigger pull. And so it speeds up this pulling of people to be in this awakened mode, in this higher dimensional consciousness. So that's one of the things. Oh yeah, I woke up with quite a sore tailbone today, and that is to do, I believe, with the uptake of these energies. I got shown that we are in merging mode in the energetic, and feeling this very physically and grounding this into the physical form today. These incredible heart energies that have been coming in, right? So they've been like can feel them. They've been almost, well, yeah, for me, they have felt explosive, that they have felt like lights going off in my higher heart and in my heart in general. And I can only describe them as beautiful, smiley, warm, heart-filling energies. And so this is what I believe that we are doing. The divine masculine. So the divine masculine showed up. If you often talk about them spiraling and spinning faster. Well, it's like they came off the top of the whirligig yesterday, or the day before. I can't remember. What date is it today? Oh no, maybe this morning I wrote that. Might have seen it yesterday. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because days and time are all elusive and merging in and out of one another, and collapsing on one level and opening in another. And so we're learning to be in this no time, in the space of being in this now moment time, which is expansive and elongated in many ways, and can bring in new opportunities as we are moving from dot to dot, really. So the divine feminine, that has been what the divine feminine or the first wave is, and then the first wavers are primarily the divine feminine, but I apologize to the divine masculine who are part of that first wave, and I must try and remember to be more inclusive. So my apologies, and my love to these incredible men who are with us, leading the way. They are really amazing, beautiful, heart-centered, grounded, solid, in their masculine, leading from their heart. And it's a pleasure to meet them and spend time with them. So I was doing a bit of hanging out with a few divine masculine last night, and that was really lovely as well. So I got this thing about the divine masculine developing fortitude. That was the word I got in the last few days, or yesterday or the day before. And this sense of them really hustling to complete what they needed to complete, the tasks. And when I looked up what fortitude meant, because Spirit gives me words, as you know, that I basically know what they mean, and I know how to spell them, but there's always a nuance. So this was the nuance that I believe that Spirit was talking about, to do with fortitude. This is courage in pain and adversity. So that was how I read the reason that Spirit gave me that word about the divine masculine. So they really, I think I saw that they had courage a while ago, but this is courage through that fortitude, courage through pain and adversity. And it's like, for many, their patience is at an end. It's like, done, dusted. Okay, I'm on to this. I'm on with this. Okay, this has to happen. This has to happen. This has to happen. And they're doing it with a lot of strength. So I wrote here, they've been through a huge growth of transformation to confront their fears, releasing what no longer serves them, and attuning to the trauma that has driven their behaviors. So that was a new thing, them having a look at why they had been doing particular things, and coming into this greater compassion and self-love, which is assisting them to come into a new level of reflection and to come into their own wholeness and balance, which of course is what many of the divine feminine have already completed. So this is them coming into readiness for union, and to do the work, and the recognition that in their higher purpose, they're going to be doing this together with their divine feminine. So I saw that a couple of sort of examples of the divine masculine, was that they were really throwing themselves into this journey, into the journey in the even though this is energetic, this movement in the physical, that it was like they just threw themselves at it, and that it was very determined, and also yeah, like they might have fallen flat on their face while they were doing it, but it's this determination. They're going to pick themselves up and do it again. And I want to say, I feel that there has been, and when I say recent, I mean today even, that there has been some interference uh, in preventing that attempt to fail. And what I want to say is, I really see that they just get up and they do it again, and they do it with greater strength. So there's that's really the message about the divine masculine. And so I hope you don't think that I kind of just sold you a lemon, but it it feels really poignant and powerful and significant to me, because this is them having moved to this whole new level of making this happen now, of being aware that this is, this coming into union, and what they have to do in order to do it, and being in the physicalness of the tasks to be able to come into completion, and to be able to come to their divine feminine. So, they will be seeking, and I have to say that that's been happening in my work world, is that there are more divine masculine who are seeking support, assistance, and guidance. So, that's another tangible sign. To Yeah, so I also saw a divine masculine as though he was running and the ground was moving under his feet. So, these are all indicators of the kinds of experiences that they'll be having. Today, even in the last couple of hours, I had this image of Gaia being like Superman. She had her right fist, and she punched her arm up and right through what I can only call the dimensional veil, um, bringing freedom and access to the higher for all of us. And that we now are entering, so this is what she said as part of that process, we are entering the time of being able to access this higher divine conscious love. So there's that. Then on the planetary level, remember that we are, there's something else I want to mention in here, is there's been the sense, I think I've mentioned it, I'm just going to mention it again. There's been this sense that has been like floating around me of, we are on the return home. And so for me, these are always messages that apply to us on a planetary level and on a personal level. And I know that we spoke about this being the return home to our DNA. I want to say how there's this tangible notion now of this being turned inside out. So we're beginning to see more earthquakes, more. I feel like we might even physically, tangibly. Well, I know we're going to, but I feel like we're in the beginning times of like things emerging. This turning inside out idea, this thing about the revealing of the hidden, that this tangible like uprising of some new land or some ancient land that might become more physical, tangible. There's all this part of, the rising of. I have to tell you that I believe that in this lifetime we have been doing the healing of the time from Atlantis. So don't know about you, but I know for me, I had several lifetimes in Atlantis, and there were there, and I was quite powerful, I believe, in each of them. But I also know that in one of those lifetimes, there was this crossing the boundaries, at least to some extent, in terms of I know that I was playing with the balls of creation, and I know that Atlantis went down that little um, line, down that little trajectory. So I haven't seen exactly what I did, but I know that I was doing that, playing with creation there. And I know that I had a demise there when it imploded. That's how I see it. That's how I've been shown it imploded. Um, so in this lifetime, we have come to heal some of the trauma that we either inflicted or received. And for me, it was both. So you might have some of those things coming up in your dream time as well as in your meditation time. Yeah, so as we go higher, we'll have greater access to our DNA, which is, in my view, being smoothed and soothed and reconnected, and it will enable us to access more of our higher gifts. Um, yeah, so these earthquakes, Guy showed me yesterday or the day before. She showed me, and I never want to be alarming to people, but she showed me this idea that there would be a series of earthquakes that were clearing portals from the outer earth to the inner earth, she showed me five. Um, so that maybe if I counted correct and perceived it correctly, we've got a few more to go. But apparently there was one somewhere in the Caribbean earlier today. Um, Yeah, so it may be that we're now in the return of in the physical tangible. So things are rising from within the planet that are tangible connections to some of our ancient epochs and times. And I think that, oh, yeah, so just remember. Ah, yes. There's a few things actually. So remember that what is happening now is dissipating the old, the limited, the conditions, the patterning that we've all been programmed with, that many of us have already kind of reconciled and realized, well, that isn't true, but that this is what's happening for the collective now. Remember that we're on the edges of ascension. On some level, I firmly am shown that on some level we're going to have ascension of some kind of planetary and human level. We're going to move a little bit through the galaxy. We're going to be more immersed in a higher dimensional frequency. And it may be still that it's only a group, but that group is going to have the impact on the rest of humanity. So there's that thing. Yeah, the portals opening there, that will be revealing to us of other things. That your codes and gifts, this is part, I believe, of the revealing, the everything turning inside out and upside down, is that it enables us to access our codes, our light packages that are sound frequency and vibration. We've got those coming in, of course, but it's like this the opening of the portals is going to enable us to access the codes and the gifts that link each of us to each of those epochs and eras. So, yeah, expect those to show up as, oh my God, all of a sudden I can see differently. There's definitely a big opening for psychic clairvoyance. Um, and that maybe you'll start to have dreams about lifetimes that you've had in those places. um yeah, so It's like we can sit in this place of knowing, we can sit in this place of being in our hearts, of being in, well, I want to say ease. And when you can sit in ease and be watching, observing, and just being with, okay, I can see what that might be, and I'm comfortable with not knowing, then this ease can become peace. And when we're in peace in the heart, that enables us to create an energetic templating, if you like, around us that impacts others. And then that's when it's like, if you think about it doing this, all of a sudden it begins to dissolve the other templates and it brings more harmoniousness, more unity consciousness. And then we're in this sort of, I want to say ease. We're in the ease of this coming online. Yeah. So I think that's it for now, but let's see if there's any questions. Sally, large, oh, she's saying that the silver channel was larger. Well, I wonder whether that's because you are, I want to say falling more into your feminine aspect. Aloha, sweet CC. Oh, and Sally's saying huge heart openings this weekend. So many happy tears. Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. Dream of union, like major love, lots of puppies being born. They are Egypt, high priest masculine to her. Beautiful. 7.6 earthquake in the Cayman Islands. Okay, is that, I guess that's in that area, isn't it? Yes. And thank you. Atlantis, Bermuda, Caribbean for sweet CC also. Yes, and Charlotte's just reminded me because I meant to say this last time, but Rebecca Gambles and I are taking a retreat back to the Bahamas, back to Bimini, first week of September. There are, her and I are meeting in the next couple of days to finish writing this up. I do want to tell you there are going to be some early bird specials. So if that's something that appeals to you, you're going to get in early. There are only 20 places. We've already had some people who came last time who want to come again. They've signaled some interest because we've let them know in advance. But yeah, it's very close to, we'll probably release that in the next, I think we were talking about releasing it around Valentine's Day. For some reason that came as a significant day for us. But anyway, around then, the dolphins gave Rebecca the name as Divine Union. So there's going to be a lot of information, a lot of workshopping, a lot of, I want to say circle work, as well as in the ocean work with the dolphins around that whole topic about coming to balance and divine union within self, which of course is the first aspect to come into divine union with your counterpart. So if that interests you, yeah, keep an eye out. I'll let you know as soon as we've launched it. But yeah, that's the date that we are talking about launching it. I'll put some links on my Facebook page and in here because I'm still in the very odd situation of my website being not connected. So hopefully I'll get to that this week, but I've had so many other things to do just personally. So I don't know if I told you, but at the end of September, I had a fall which impacted both ankles. I sprained one ankle, bruised another ankle, and then a month later, and bruised my shoulder, but a month later, it started to come into pain. I went to all sorts of places and people and practitioners. And then the week before last, I went to a chiropractor. And he said, so he touched me and he said, there's so much tension here, here, and here. I want you to go and have an ultrasound. So that hadn't been suggested by anybody else. But anyway, it turns out that I have an inflamed bursa, which is like a fluid package, is my understanding, that sits over the joints. And so that has impacted huge pain in my body. And so I'm sort of halfway through with that. But, that's sort of, I've been going to lots of different places in order to get to the bottom of it. And so now I can be a bit more focused with who I go and see, but it's been taking so much of my time, which is why I've been doing posts rather than coming on here. Yeah, and I want to tell you that this whole thing about the heart, for me, it's so visceral. So yesterday, or the day before, I felt like I could see this, like a comic strip explosion in my higher heart, and then now it's like so delicious. Honestly, everybody needs to be in my heart, or to have your heart feeling like this, which I'm sure is really what I'm meaning to say. I don't mean that egotistically, but it's so beautiful. So feel into it, because this is what the Divine Feminine are doing. It's yummy, it's delicious, it's expansive, it's warm, it's embracing, and it's this love that we can emanate to the world to, bring on the shift. So hi, Billy, and thank you, Charlotte, for reminding me of that. And Carla's saying she had a similar thing in her elbow, and SRL cream solved it. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I feel that we're in for exciting dreams. You might be having, I know of a few people who have been having, well, and me as well, like I want to call it visceral. It's a visceral physical experience of the Divine Masculine being next to you, being with their arms around you, lying in bed next to you. So this is, this is the edges of their, I want to say it's like back to the beginning of the cycle, but it's kind of flipped. And so I feel that many of the experiences that we have had in the past, all those synchronous things, they are like this. They're just right in the pathway of the Divine Masculine, as well as their dreams, and also a lot of kind of as though they like are surprised that this is back, and this feeling, it's taken on more of a reality, this recognition that it's gone on for a long time and never moved, but it's like this ability of the masculine to hide it can't be happening anymore. And then remember that, I think I've spoken to you about this, but do you remember that in the last few days I got shown how we're going to skip, well, we aren't, but the masculine are, and a big block of humanity are going to skip cognitive dissonance. It's as though all of those things that would be unbelievable, that would, help them to awaken, they are not going to go through all of those experiences, all of that dark night of the soul stuff. They are going to skip it, and they're just going to be there, awake and aware, and knowing. So they're coming into this. I'm calling it soul. I'm calling it a soul shot. It's like the soul is having a tangible whoop, and it's like this explosion of light, and they are in this knowing and awareness of who they are, where they're meant to be, and what they're meant to be doing. And so, of course, the first thing is to go, oh, I'm not meant to be doing this. No wonder I'm not enjoying it. And then they're now in, I believe, as a collective, they are in the taking the tangible steps. They've figured it out, and they're now taking the tangible steps, and it will be quick. So, yeah, that's what I mean by off the end of the whirligig. They've done their spiraling up, and now they're flipping into the next thing, and it's direct, it's tangible, they'll be turning up. Yeah, so lots of love to you. Take care, be gentle with yourselves. There's I want to say there's a big pull to doing nothing, to resting, to lying on the grass, to leaning up against a tree, to getting your body in the ocean, to be, I want to say, when you get your feet in the water, whether it's the river, and if it's not an ocean, if you can't do that, in a bucket of water or in the shower or the bath, and just call in the aspects of this, and call in the aspects of the divine cosmos, love, the waters of creation. Call them in and ask them to come into your body, and ask them to heal and caress and assist the body to feel held and nurtured, because there's a big sense of exhaustion in the first wave at the moment, because first waves have been, back to the beginning, aren't I? Out fighting in the ethers and holding space for humanity, as well as doing our own metamorphosis. All right, lots of love to you. See you again soon.